Limitless Thoughts. This is part 2 of the relationship goals and relationship hacks or relationship improvements. Like I told you before, I was gonna make a part 2, kind of just going over more things I think are very important. Because, like, let me review what I did in the first one. The first one was talking about two individuals becoming one and how to not base your relationship or base your situation on somebody else. Because once you start basing and once you start really thinking like, you know what, I want to be like them and setting that firm image of someone else's relationship or someone else's thing going on, you really kind of lose track and your path kind of gets bumpy, you know? Because it's like, you don't know what they go through. You don't know what they've been through. You don't know from point A to point B. That whole, you know what, not even that. You don't know from point A to point C. You have B in the middle. You don't know what happened through that time. If they were struggling, if they didn't talk for months or weeks, you have no idea. So there's no need for you to say, I want to be just like them, because there's going to be issues, there's going to be problems. And you have to know how to face these problems. You can't run away from problems. And that's what I'm going to get into in this part 2, is talking about after you become one. And after you become in a relationship, or if you're married, especially when you're married, that's the key. Marriage is so important, where people, I don't think they understand. They think it's something you can play with. You know, it's just, it's amazing how I've seen so many divorces. I think right now, I think we're at a high percentage of divorces right now. I think 50%, don't take me 100% on that, but I think the last thing I read was like 50% of marriages fail. 50%. So if you have 10 people, 5 of them will get divorced. You know what I'm saying? And even if it's a little less, even if it's 40%, that's still so many people. And I don't think we understand the key. But what I'm trying to tell you is the things that I'm about to say will really, really save your marriage, save your relationship, and save you from being that next statistic about getting divorced. So here we go. So one thing that people need to do is communicate. It's as simple as that, is communicate. Many people find it so hard just to communicate, just to talk, just to allow your feelings and just to allow what you're thinking to come out. You know, obviously there's a time and a place for everything. So if you're out with some family and your wife or your girlfriend says something you don't like, don't just burst out and like, listen, blah, 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 in front of your family. Wait till you get alone and then confront the situation. Because one thing that people do is they allow things that bother them stay within, and they shove it down. They try to put it in a file case. Here, this is an analogy I'm going to use. They put it, you know, when you have a file, you have a drawer, you have each individual file. Boom. You know how when there's nothing really in the file, you can pull it out. Okay, so think of a file case. You have your top, and you know you want to start from your top. So you have an empty file case, and you pull it out and you put a file in there. That's one thing that she offended you with, or one thing that bothered you. Boom. You put the file in there, you close it. Boom. That's just one file. Remember what I just said. Because at the end, you're going to see what I'm talking about. So with that, you let one thing bother you. You never said anything. I'm going to give you 2 different scenarios. Someone that had that problem never said anything. And you have another relationship where they confronted it. This relationship A, that confronted the situation, is happy right now, has no problems. B never said anything. They're happy right now and they have no problems. Keyword, they're happy right now and they have no problem. That's B. A is happy right now and they have no problems. So they're both mutually having the same happiness. Pay attention. Take notes. Now, one day at dinner, something else happens. Boom, in the file. Something happened at dinners. They confront situation, boom, they're both happy again. Now think of many situations, boom, Another file, another file, another file, another file. The drawer starts getting heavy. The drawer starts getting heavy. The drawer starts getting heavy. Now the drawer is so full with so many offensives that in this last one, relationship A, try to open it, and the whole file case fell over because it couldn't take it anymore. Just like in a file case, if you put too much paper or too much things in that one drawer, even if you pull it out too far, because you're trying to tuck something in there and there's not really any more space, the whole thing would tilt over because it's unbalanced. It goes from being balanced to unbalanced. Now, this relationship had all the same exact issues, same exact problems, but they confronted it in that appropriate time. So they both were happy, but they were storing all the bad things, trying to tuck it away. They confronted it. So in the long run, this is what was happening. They were going, both at the same pace, A and B. And then all of a sudden, they couldn't take it anymore. Completely gone. And A relationship kept going up. And that's where communication comes in. It's so key. Because when you confront the issue, when you confront the problem with your significant other, and understand, listen, babe, last night when we went out, I really didn't appreciate what you said in front of my mother. That it kind of bothered me. Can we let's talk about this? You know, like I find it kind of a little disrespectful. I kind of find it a little, this, and I didn't like it. And then she didn't say, listen, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that. That's not what I meant. Next time that won't happen. Boom. End of conversation. Now it's resolved. Now there's no tension built up inside. That's why communication is so key in relationships, and people really don't understand that. And that's the end of that part of it. Then another thing is having expectations that do not get met. When you build expectations on your significant other and they do not get met, you will have some sort of conflict. And that's where it comes in key. Is because one of the most important things is you can't expect your significant other to be something they're not. Because once you label them in a certain way and say, listen, I want her to be just like this. When she doesn't do that, and when it doesn't match up, then you have a problem. So what you have to do is not put any expectations on her, because she is made as a special individual. A special as an individual. There's something in the Bible, for those who want some biblical facts, is talks about cultivating. Cultivating. It talks about not changing the person you're with, but cultivating them. And where I kind of find that key, and where I never heard of that, growing up, and what I've really done my research about and really looked into is not changing them, but when you're cultivating, you're building it. So the things like her insecurities, say that she's a very beautiful woman, but she doesn't believe that she's beautiful. You help her, enlighten her, so she can feel strong in her beauty. Help her insecurities. Don't let her insecurities just ride. That's the person you love. That's the person you want to be with the rest of your life. That's the person you care for. So don't let them fail. Build them up. Be their rock. Because, growing up, you always hear people say, opposites attract. But when you get married, opposites attack. If you've never heard that one, please write down in the comments below. Tell me if you ever heard of that. I just heard about it today, to be honest. And when I really thought about that, I was like, wow, it makes so much sense. Opposites attract. But once you get married, opposites attack. And it's so true. Because like I said in the other first video, is that majority of us, we're not ready for a relationship in that time period. But we search for one and we find one. And the reason why I say opposites attract is because what you want to be, you're not. So the person who has all those qualities that you wish you could have, that's why you're attracted to them. Because it fulfills, it satisfies that need of what you want. That's why opposites attract. And once you kind of break that down and understand the context of that and really apply it to your life and reflect, you know, that's when your relationship will really improve. Is once you realize, okay, listen, I'm a good driver, but my wife can't drive good. I'm terrible at taking directions, but she's very good at taking directions. Now you become one. Now you have the perfect duo. When you go on family trips or whatever you're doing, because she's good at direction, you're good at driving, boom, you guys complete each other. And that's the way relationships and marriages should be. It's things and skills that you don't have, maybe your wife have, or your girlfriend. And you guys come together, communicate, build a foundation. Build that love, build the chemistry. Because if you think about it, sometimes we get mad and upset about the dumbest things. Why does it matter? Why does it matter that she ate your last piece of cake? Because it's respect and you bought it and you're the man of the house and you worked so hard? She's gonna have your kids. She's gonna cook for you multiple times when you're tired. Why get mad over one little small thing? Why ruin everything you have with that person over one small thing? Why? It's not worth it. It really isn't worth it. So communicate with your significant other. That's all it takes. It's as simple as that. I'm just trying to break it down and show you guys how important communication is and not putting expectations on your significant other. Here's another analogy. For every time you guys get in an argument and not resolve it, or you have a problem and not bring it to surface, put one of those little fence things. Your significant other's on this side and you're on this side. And in the middle is the concrete foundation that's really getting mold. And you're sticking bars in there. Real like fence bars. Okay, let's think about it. Visualize this right now. That person's over here, that person's over here. For every time you guys have a problem and do not bring to surface, a piece of wood goes up. Another 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 piece of wood goes up. And another piece of wood goes up. Now you have a wall. It all started from one thing at a time. Until you created a wall that blocks you from talking to that person, from loving that person, from caring for that person. Now you have a wall. And when it gets that far to when you have a wall, that's when divorces happen. Because you don't feel the love. You don't feel the connection. You don't feel the emotion. Because there's a wall. Because so much stuff that you did not say. And because you try to push it down. Stop pushing it down. Communicate. That is the key. Because now you, like I said, now you have a wall here. So now when you have this wall here, what are you going to do? The only thing that you can do is take away those things one by one. One by one. And that is so hard because people feel like, I can easily just divorce. Or I can easily get over this. But then that really causes problems. So you have to communicate. That's really one of the most important things in a relationship. And building that foundation with that person that you love. You know? So just make sure you communicate. If something really bothers you, say it. Say it. You have to know that person that you care for. Because if you don't, I'm telling you, you might as well just say bye-bye now. Adios, senorita. You might as well. That's exactly what will happen. You have to understand those things that your person that you love or care for. You have to be observant. Watch what triggers her. Understand what triggers her. Because if you said something and be like, listen, babe, I realized that when I just said that, like, it got you upset, or I saw that you got a little tight. What did I say wrong? Like, let me know. That's how you fix it. Stop trying to say, who cares? And for the men, stop trying to have your ego so high where it's like, I don't care. I'm not saying sorry. I didn't do anything wrong. If you act like that, you might as well say bye. Straight up bye. And women, if you think that, oh, I'm a princess, my husband needs to come to me, I'm not coming to him, or he needs to this, stop. Stop putting all these big titles to yourself. You're not entitled to anything whatsoever. If you think about it, the person you married is from a whole nother world. You're from a whole nother world, a whole nother country, a whole nother background. And you're coming together. Think about that. So you have to understand, you have to analyze, you have to work together, you have to build. So stop doing what you think needs to be done or you think is right. Follow your heart. Communicate, talk, resolve. Stop shoving in a file. Stop building a wall. If you can honestly stop keeping it inside and just communicate and talk, I promise you 100% that you can resolve many of the arguments, many of the divorces, many of the issues in your relationship just by talking. Because maybe you might talk, if you're dating someone, you might talk and realize, wow, this person's not for me. Wow, I was only going for this person because they look so good. Or wow, I thought I liked this person, but I really don't. That's an important thing too. Is figuring out that person is really meant for you. And communication is key to that. Communication is the key to all that. Finding that person is really meant for you. Finding that person is really the one you could marry. Finding that person and resolving those issues and those conflicts. So remember, if you don't get anything from this video, if you don't understand anything I just said, just remember, communication is key. You know what DJ Khaled said? I got the keys. I'm giving you the key right now. Communications. Communications is the key. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching part 2. And I appreciate it. And please show some love. Subscribe, like. I don't know if it's up in the corner, down the bottom. But please show some love. Share it with your loved one. Share it with someone you like. Inform other people about this, because this is really key. This could save somebody's marriage. Save somebody's relationship. So please, like, subscribe, comment down below how you feel about it. If there's anything I should add, or if there's any topic you want me to talk about relationships, please just comment down below and I surely will. I love you guys so much. You guys have a good day and bless.